Recently, I became a member of the exclusive Sub-Hour Club, joining a group of less than 30 elite Pokemon trading card game speedrunners who can beat the game glitchless in less than an hour, and on stream, I was able to beat it in 58 minutes. A journey that took me more than 2 years to achieve has reached its ultimate conclusion, and the story I'm going to tell today is not that one. But in my journey to reach that sub-hour mark, something came up that momentarily shifted my focus just a little bit. And who's ready for a tournament arc? So not too long ago, an opportunity to participate in my very first speedrunning marathon dropped my way, and I knew I had to take that opportunity. The Pokemon Speedruns Marathon is a yearly marathon showcasing various Pokemon games and the speedrunning aspect of them, so I figured why not, right? Originally, I was thinking about doing a solo run, displaying my improvement, and hopefully giving the game some much needed spotlight. Admittedly, I was pretty nervous about even making an attempt because my best run at the time wasn't even close to approaching the top 20 in the N% glitchless category. I mean, sure, I was near the top of the charts in a meme category called Imakuni%, but that's not what we're going to be running in this marathon. I spent days and even weeks figuring out whether or not I was good enough, but then Pinecone606, arguably the best active speedrunner of this game, and has the second fastest ever time on 80% glitchless, suggested a possible submission of a race run, a one-of-a-kind 3-person race where each person would run one of the 3 decks available in this game. Ultimately, the 3 runners of this race would be myself, Pinecone, and Roggentreg, another phenomenal runner of this game. It was decided that I would run the Bulbasaur deck, the deck that I'm best at. Pinecone went with Squirtle, and Roggentreg went with the Charmander deck. 3 decks, 3 distinct speedrunning styles for this game. Now, even with the handicap of playing my best deck for this marathon, I knew that I needed to make drastic improvements to my speedrunning abilities and develop a route that will minimize the chances of me making a complete fool of myself because, well, some fights can be pretty tough. In fact, what you've been watching for the past minute or so is me resetting the same fight over and over again. Yeah, Amanda was not going to be easy. So obviously some adjustments are in order. Anyway, I've made some changes to my run, thanks in large part to Pinecone's routing suggestions, and with only a week left before the marathon, I was starting to get into the zone, feeling confident in my abilities to not make a fool out of myself. But then, a major health roadblock was put right in front of me: COVID. With just days before the biggest stream of my speedrunning career, I was dealing with a 102-degree fever, massive headaches, constant coughing, and more. There was a legit chance I was going to be too sick to do the race, and I even had to message everyone in the race, giving them a heads up that I might miss the race. Thankfully, that crisis was averted and I was not dying to the point where I would miss the race. However, all that time being sick did kind of stop me from practicing, which is doubly bad, not just because I'll be a little rusty, but also because we never had the chance to try out the gimmick fight of the entire race that we had planned. See, the race that we're doing, we'll have each runner do one fight in the Pokemon Dome, which is this game's version of the Elite Four, using nothing but the Pokemon that our deck was named after, meaning that Pinecone was going to do a fight using only the Squirtle family, Roggentreg was going to use the Charmander family, and I was going to use the Bulbasaur family. That's all fine and dandy, but the problem is that I have never actually used Bulbasaur in any speedrun attempt ever. Why? Because there's not a single fight in this run where Bulbasaur is the optimal strat. In fact, there's not even a fight that has Bulbasaur as the second or even third fastest strategy to win. So imagine me never using Bulbasaur in a speedrun of this game, about to use it in possibly the hardest fight of the entire run, Jack. The only way I can pull this fight off is that I can get a Venusaur out on my field because that chunking boy's Solar Beam is too strong. But seeing as how I'm picking the Bulbasaur deck, getting multiple Venusaur in my deck over the course of an hour should be easy, right? So after hastily practicing the Venusaur strategy about 2 hours before the race even began, Pinecone, Roggentreg, Autumn, our commentator, and I hopped into Discord, turned on our respective games, and were ready to do this race. Starting out, I did my usual strategy where I faced several trainers using only Hitmonchan. The reason why I went this route was because those fights can be won with just one Hitmonchan, and most of them give out Coliseum packs, which carry Dugtrio as a possible pull. Dugtrio basically clears most of the Elite Four and some gym leaders, so it's well within our interest of getting several of these. And wouldn't you believe it, we got not one, but two Duck Trios in a single fight, which is incredibly rare, and off the heels of beating Michael, the bastard that has ruined quite possibly a million speedruns. So getting our first gym badge, or Master Medal as they're called in this game, in less than 11 minutes of starting the run is actually decent for the first part of the run. Next up on the chopping block is beating Chris and Amanda, which were a little bit slow, but not run killing, but the run really slowed down with a 2.5 minute Gene, the Rock Gym Leader. But hey, 2 badges at the 17-minute mark, not the worst, so there's your silver lining. And amazingly, I was actually not in last place in the badge lead as I was less than a minute behind Rogentreg, but of course everyone's routing is different, meaning badge leads after 20 minutes really doesn't say anything about how all 3 of us were gonna end. However, Rogentreg's lead dwindled at an absurdly unlucky moment against Sarah, the easiest fight in the entire race, as her Squirtle paralyzed Rogentreg's Electabuzz for 6 straight turns.
Yeah, no, I've had instances where the AI paralyzed me 5 straight turns in a row, which, if you don't know, if you haven't done the maths yet, that's a 3.125% chance of happening.
I can beat you in this run alone on, I think it was Joshua. Oh, no, it was Sarah. That was it. Sarah, of all people, had a Squirtle that paralyzed me 6 times in a row.
Oh.
And I think that's the slowest Sarah ever recorded.
Yeah, and
honestly.
Sarah is the easiest fight in the game.
By miles.
By miles, so that's amazing.
To give you an idea of how rotten that luck is, it's roughly a 1.56% chance of that happening. Given that unfortunate situation for Rogentreg, I was starting to catch up a bit as Pinecone was still starting to build her deck up because the Squirtle deck is very light on resources, meaning she'll need some help in getting the necessary cards to make the run a winning one. On my end, I got the next 2 badges giving me a total of 4 just 26 minutes into the run and putting me in really good shape to have a decent time, well, decent for someone like me. At the 30-minute mark, I had 5 badges, while Rogentreg and Pinecone were trailing behind with about 3 or 4 badges each, and I only had a couple of fights left. I was well on my way to get to the Elite Four in the Pokemon Dome in under the adjusted 15-minute mark, which is about 41 minutes and 57 seconds for this race, taking into account that we skipped the tutorial. But now that Pinecone's got her deck in good shape, she started sweeping through some of these boss fights, and at exactly 38 minutes and 47 seconds, we both got our 7th badge at exactly the same time, which is unbelievable. All Pinecone had left was the fight against Nikki, the Grass Gym Leader, and I had Mitch, the Fighting-type Gym Leader. At this point, it was a toss-up as to who was about to finish first heading into the Elite Four. Fortunately for me, I beat Mitch in fairly quick fashion, meaning I entered the doors to the Pokemon Dome in under 41 minutes, theoretically within range of achieving my, at the time, first sub-hour, but I needed a really good run at the Elite Four, and considering there's a Venusaur-sized hole that has yet to be filled, I doubt that was happening. But hey, I was already proud of the run at this point. Still, our job was not done yet. The start of the Elite Four had us face off against Courtney, which we took care of pretty easily thanks to our Articuno. Next up is Steve. For those of you who don't know, Steve is another run killer in this game. With his legendary Zapdos, whose Peel Thunder one-shots our Diglett without even lifting a finger, and with a whopping 100 HP and needing 3 turns for the trio to beat after 4 turns of setting it up at least, I was in for one of the most stressful fights of the run so far. I beat him in a couple of minutes. Steve was at least merciful and only made me reset the fight a few times. RNG is a real bitch to deal with sometimes. Remember when I talked about Jack earlier in this video and needing multiple Venusaurs to make this viable? Oh no. I spent a whopping 30 minutes, I know it's not much, but shut up, practicing with 2 Venusaurs in my deck to get this done. Now you're telling me that I have to beat Jack with 1 Ivysaur and 1 Venusaur? And this is a man that has multiple Articunos, several damage sponges with Chansey, an annoying status inflictor and Lapras that doesn't go down in 1 turn without having multiple cards that power up my attack, and ways to bring all of that out in 1 fight, sometimes all at once. And mind you, the way evolution normally works in this game is that I need to get Bulbasaur out, have Ivysaur in my hand, wait a turn, then get Ivysaur out, and then hope that I can find a way to get Venusaur in my hand. Otherwise, I'm screwed. My first try looked like it was going to be promising, getting the Ivysaur out already, but after seeing Jack with so many heavy hitters waiting to pounce on me, I decided to give up and start the fight again, losing a whole minute and a half on this one attempt. The second attempt was a big fat dud. Third time was the charm, and after roughly 2 minutes into this third fight, getting Ivysaur out and heading to possibly my final turn as my Ivysaur only had 10 HP left, I did my best Yugi impression and believed in the heart of the cards. I drew the faded card that was going to win me the fight, Venusaur. With Solar Beam taking out his Articuno, I finally overcome the biggest hurdle of the run after 6.5 minutes. Well, that's garbage if I've ever seen it, but whatever. I was still somehow in the lead as Pinecone was still stuck on Steve, and Roggentreg, well...
That's a big difference. As we see live on stream, Ninetales is 8 tails.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Oh
yeah.
no!
8 coin flips. This is the worst attack in the game, and
I live. Please, I just double colorless energy. That's all I want. I might actually die to Eevees. This is...
Oh no.
Yeah, Roggentreg was not having a good time. Back to me, I was starting my victory lap as Rod, the final member of the Grand Masters, aka the Elite Four, was up next, and he is the easiest out of bunch as he has heavy hitters, but rarely does he ever get them out. He uses Magikarp unironically, and he's supposed to be the top dog, not named champion. Finally, we got Ronald, our rival, the man we had to let win twice just to be able to get this run moving. And thankfully, he sucks at building a deck. He only has fire energy, which means the Zapdos and Articuno he brought onto his god tier deck can't even attack. I disposed of him and finished the race as the actual winner. Holy crap, I actually did it. I was so excited that I forgot to actually call time, and so instead of a 58:56, I called time at 59:08. Whoops. I was in a state of euphoria knowing that I could hang with the absolute best this game has to offer. Pinecone and Roggentreg are incredible at this game, far better than I am, but it feels good having that feather in my cap. It was a lot of fun doing this race and showcasing the game in front of people who might have never tried it out otherwise. Currently it's on the Nintendo Switch via Nintendo Switch Online, and I highly recommend you all give it a try, speedrun or not. You can check out the full race on the video link in the description below, and thank you to Autumn, Pinecone606, and Roggentreg for sharing this amazing experience, and to the Pokemon Speedrun Marathon organizers for giving us this platform to do this race. It was so much fun to do. It was certainly something that I will never forget. I'm Toronite, and thank you for watching.